You big deal MC, blue amp reporter on the warpath. I love it. I
Right.
love it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I would like live out my childhood fantasies of being the hard-hitting investigative reporter, before the
Maybe
industry died out.
absolutely. Well, trust me, the industry is only going to get wilder. That's what
It
it's looking like,
is.
dude.
That's what
It's
I told my
absolute.
husband. I feel like the point we're at, I feel like is when like TV first became a thing and marketing was bonkers. There were no rules. It was balls to the wall. Like if you watch some of the ads from the earliest days of TV, it's like unbelievable that they put that on it's like so crazy. And I feel like that's where we're
Yeah.
at with journalism and media is this new paradigm and everybody's just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks and going
Yeah.
crazy. But
No,
like today I was watching I'm not going to name names, but a established storied, long time big broadcast TV anchor
a
person.
mouthpiece.
And it was pretty clear when they were doing like their lives on Substack that without a
Yeah.
team, they're not really that
They're nothing.
engaging. They're not really that good. Yeah.
No.
So,
No.
but they've got millions of followers.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh
true. It's
man.
like you you have these people who ended up here and it's like it's just easy, right? It's like, oh, they were fired, they were telling the truth. And they have to be like, support me while I tell the truth. And then they just do what they did before, which is regurgitate other people's work.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
so that's why it's important folks talk about different things, like that's what I've like taken myself, and I've just pivoted away from like everything. If there's someone I know that's like covering it and does a good job, I'm like, okay, like someone's on it, someone's telling the truth. I need to focus on
Right.
where they're not telling the truth. And so, yeah, my
Yeah.
superpower of trying to figure out what's going on every continent simultaneously is what
How do you do
I'm
that?
doubling
Like, how
down.
do you have a secret tool that you use?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Um I've built like different prompts and
Mhm.
over time, and I've like, my Gemini in particular, it learns now. And so I've put all of these constraints on it. Like the personal like context in there is just like a brick of things it cannot do. Basically
Uh,
like saying you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you have to pick this kind of source, this is your methodology, this is how you verify a source. I got this great document from uh, this woman Votes that she shared with me that she had built for
oh!
like data accuracy through AI, and I got that in there, and then I've been building out my basically it's a set of instructions for how it generates a report, and basically all I do at this point is I provide the areas of interest, and then I send it out there and it goes and looks at like, I don't know, 500, 600 things, and it comes back to me, and then I go through it, and right now I'm trying to get it down because a lot of it is like workflow and like doing things in the most optimal order. And so now
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my infographics because I feel like everything I talk about is so overwhelming, and I think fun pictures are great. So I've been making these
So you
infographics,
did the
and
one today
yeah, I
on
make
the
all those.
firebrand
So
today
I
that was oh,
those were my
it looked really
infographics. Yeah,
good.
I made. Thank you. Thank you. So I've made all that stuff,
I
and
love
so
it.
now it's like we're pivoting to a newsletter so people can get what they want. They can watch it, they can read a whole newsletter if they want, they can skim the infographics, but I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's like if there was like a strategy, I would say it's probably just my the way I think about the world at this point. Like I bounce from continent to continent. Like I'm looking,
Mhm.
and I'm also, it's like the other thing is like I think there's a lot going on, but I'm trying to monitor conflicts too, like wars and stuff, because there's like a lot of wars going on. Like I literally, no one's talking about how like the two countries who are both invested in the United States and billions and billions and billions of dollars own all of our private companies and shit are actively fighting each other in a proxy war right now where they're bombing the
Yeah.
shit out of each other's proxy forces and like fighting over like Yemen. No one's like, do you think that could be like, I don't know, problematic when you're like, they're both invested on Paramount Skydance. They've both gone in on it, and like it's just weird. It's just so weird. It's all surreal. It's super
The
surreal, but
first
I don't
week
know.
of this year has like it makes me really fucking mad that the flooding the zone method is so effective. Like it because we know it's coming. We know like I figured the beginning of the new year that this is what they were going to do. They were going to flood the zone, but I didn't know in what way, obviously. That's the thing is we just are at their mercy, and then people with any type of empathy we just have to sit and wait for the next like atrocity, and it's like, oh, we didn't even think of that, we didn't even think that that was something that we needed to worry about, but here we go. Yeah, did you see
Yeah.
like people in the comments, two more people shot in Portland by DHS
Wait, today?
today, just this afternoon.
Killed?
They're
Are they dead?
alive. They're
Thank God.
alive. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Like, to be honest with you, it's like what I think it's very possible that they just double down. They're like, okay, we killed someone. Let's see if we can just kill people and get away with it. Like, let's
Right.
establish that ICE can just fucking shoot you and there's nothing you can do. Wouldn't surprise me. It's one of those things where I'm sitting here looking at this critically. I'm like, look, we're in late stage democratic backslide fascist regime takeover. Like, you know, I it's the same thing. Like, look at the military. The military is a joke. They're a bunch of war criminals now. That's what they want to be, I guess. That's what the Pentagon decided was acceptable. We're going to go commit war crimes, and we're gonna just be no better than Putin. We're just gonna
Right.
bomb residential buildings and kill innocent people, and that's where we're at. It's like I remember when they had the Trump parade and everyone was like, "Oh, they were marching funny. They'll never comply." And I'm like, "Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, fucking right. Nope." It's like why, and it's
The
frustrating
scare
because
I
I'm like,
The
"Go ahead."
scary thing is I think the ones that would not say something are leaving. I think they're finding ways to leave. Like,
I
not
think,
at all saying anything negative because I understand the circumstances, but I checked back on the sources from my story, that I broke, and just,
yeah,
like, checking up on them, like, it are they good? They
yeah.
didn't get any negative repercussions or whatever, and, so they're good, but they're out of theater now. They're not there. So like there's more honest, honorable, upstanding people who are now out of the theater. So who does that leave there?
It's interesting because I think there's a lot of connections between Teal, the regime, draw my lines, whatever. Spec Ops in particular is very like this with them. Okay, SOCOM, SEALs, Army Rangers, Delta Force. Who do they have do all this shit? Who just seized all these fucking tankers? It was SEALs. SEALs
Yeah.
did it. There's definitely, but the reality is like I said, I don't remember who I was talking to the other day. I was like, but I'm sorry, like Admiral Halsey, the scope of that operation that they pulled off, okay, in Venezuela. They've been planning that for months. When he stepped down, when was that? November, October? Uh,
October.
he,
Yeah.
October. He knew that they were going to do that. Chose
Right.
to step down because he didn't want to be part of it. You know what, Admiral Halsey? Why did you silently step down, all polite like, and say, "Oh, yep, it's been an honor"? You were it. You were it. And you stepped down. And now a bunch of innocent people are probably fucking dead in Venezuela. The entire global world order is upside down. And what? Like, I'm sorry. You know what? What's the fucking point of serving for 40, 50 years and then throwing your fucking country out the window and what? Going and where are you going to retire, bro? You're a black man. You're like, you know what? I'm sorry. What do you fucking mean? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? These guys, they all stepped down. No, they handed the armed forces to these people because we know that the rank and file has been brainwashed by Fox News for the last 20 years. We know that. So it was the intelligent leadership who was the bulwark against fascism. And instead of doing something, instead of blowing whistles, they said, okay. And I don't know if I can respect them for that. Like, like I said, what's the fucking point of serving?
I know some people have this take that like, oh, well, their act of resignation is in itself and obviously an act of protest. Like, well, that's like the most convenient act of protest ever. Like, okay, so you just step out of the way, knowing who's behind you, knowing who's going to step up. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, as far as the lower enlisted guys, they fucked them over months ago when they gutted JAG. I mean, that's who the lower enlisted go to ask for legal advice. Yes.
First thing
and almost nobody talked about it. Almost nobody talked about it.
And JAG. I remember I wrote about that shit. I was like, guys, Inspector General, you know what Inspector Generals do? You know that? You know, like, nope. The fucking Pentagon Inspector General, somehow he's still there, but he's up to his eyeballs in bullshit. And I'm sure they bury him, you know, but it's like, it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter because at this point, you know, that there's no integrity. They've sullied and they've soiled the like we were always committing fucking war crimes behind the scenes. Absolutely. Okay. Like, you know, like there's still investigations into what our troops did to women and mass raping and murder and all this shit in Iraq and Afghanistan. Okay. Like shit straight up, like UN. But to openly, you know, do what they're doing, and to act in the way that they've acted so blatantly, and then to throw around, you know, the open the zero fucks. I'm just so disgusted. And I don't
that's the thing is that everything is so fucking blatant at this point. Like there's no pretense. Just like at least Bush had the pretense of 9/11 and weapons of mass destruction for us to go into Iraq. There's no pretense. Our president stood up there and was like, oil. It's gonna be oil. That's it. He didn't even try to pretend it was about democracy, diplomacy, like absolutely nothing. Oil. We're going to take their oil and a lot of people are going to get very wealthy. Like, so that's where we are now. So, I mean, oh my God, I can't imagine being in the military right now. One of my son's friends, I posted a few days ago, my son's texting back and forth with them. He's in an air squadron and he texts my son, I got activated. So if that's an air squadron, that means more strikes on Venezuela. Okay. We know that if an air squadron is getting activated. So he's texting my son and he's like, I don't want to do this. This is a war for oil. I don't want to do it. And what can he do? And then there's people that think, well, so tell him to not go and not follow him being activated is not an unlawful order. Him deploying is not an unlawful order. So see, they get them all the way in theater. They get them thousands of miles away from their family. They get them on ships with JAG that's clearly corrupt. So how can a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid then say no in that situation to further orders, especially if Jag on the ship is assuring him, no, this is all fine. Just like the order to delete video, which they all knew was wrong and unlawful. And Jag was like, no, you're fine. Go ahead and delete it. So I feel bad for the lowest level of enlisted guys who do have some sort of conscience and who aren't just looking to go kick doors in somewhere, because they're fucked right now. They're just fucked.
And whose
There's
fault
nothing
is
they can
that?
do.
It's people like Halsey. They decided like you step down, bro. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I was talking to my friend John Oliver. He's a Canadian. And he said to me the other day, he's like, the only way I think that things change is the military arrests Trump. I'm like, it's just never going to happen. Never. Not right now.
Yeah.
The military's done. Cooked.
Yeah.
It's cooked. That's that. Like you want me to tell you, if you want happy news, you're listening to the wrong dude. But
yeah. It's the truth, like, though. It is. I really thought that Pete getting rid of all the women he could, especially those in leadership, was more about misogyny. But I understand now, after going to however many protests I've gone to over the past year and seeing that they are 80% women, that the reason he got rid of as many women in leadership is because he knew they would stand up when men wouldn't. He knew that they would stand up and they would defy orders. So he got rid of them.
Yeah. The thing I think people are going to understand this year is that it takes time to dismantle institutions, to truly dismantle institutions, to truly break a system. And it took them all year, and all the bills they passed, everything. 2026 felt far away. But this year is going to be, it's going to feel fucking alien to people. It's going to feel weird. They're not going to understand, well, like, what am I supposed to do with this insurance premium? I clearly can't pay this. What am I supposed to do? And it's going to be
a few minutes ago, the House passed a vote to continue the subsidies. Yeah.
Oh, they did. Yeah. I wonder why. And even still, I'm sure that it probably wasn't, I doubt it was the same.
I want to know what we gave up for that.
I want to know what else they put in that bill.
Yeah.
I don't know. ICE agents have immunity to, I don't know, like persecution.
Murder.
So, in that case, it's like, and I did see that the Senate voted against his wartime power resolutions. So I think that now has to go to the House. So it's like, but I don't, okay. Yeah. It sucks to say it, but like, I have zero faith in anything.
Yeah,
the only thing
that's the point
is a popular uprising. That's it.
Right.
And until that happens, I'm going to sit here and like talk about what's happening. What's going on, because I said this actually to Rick Herbst and Lisa yesterday, because they're both great. If you're not subscribed to them, go subscribe to them. Lisa, We Are the Third Estate, and Rick Herbst at Adverse Action Daily. Great shows. But I told him, I'm like, look, like at this point, I don't listen to Trump. I don't listen to Stephen Miller. I don't listen to anybody. I look straight fucking through them like they're a window, because the truth is very far behind them, and it has nothing to do with what they're going to say. In fact, the truth is so visible. It's so transparent. You just have to realize that it's behind them, that they're doing this, and they're
that's my little bit of self-care this year. I am not at all watching Steve Miller, JD Vance, or Pete Hegseth, because they make my skin crawl in such a visceral way. So that's my skincare, or that's my self-care for the new year, is just not even, because you're right. They're going to say awful, inflammatory things that are going to upset me and every other person of conscience. So why bother? It's all propaganda anyway, just like
what's going on, Kat?
And just lying and lying and lying and lying about the woman they murdered. It's appalling to me. Kristi Noem said she's going to ask the DOJ to charge this woman as a domestic terrorist. After she's already dead? Like, what does that even, how can you even?
I wonder I was gonna hold off on that because I watched that video too. I watched it from 6 different fucking angles.
Mhm.
Okay. He shot a woman in the face for no fucking reason. And what drove me fucking insane was the way he holstered his gun,
And
turned, and walked
calmly.
away.
Ooh,
Walked away.
yes.
He could have given 2 fucks. He just killed
Cold-blooded
somebody.
killer.
He didn't give a fuck. I mean, he shot her, boom, 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 and then holstered that shit and
and then
turned
walked.
and walked away.
Yeah.
And the best footage is there's a woman following him, and you can just see him. He's not nervous. He's not worried. He really felt like he could shoot a woman in the street because she
Right.
wanted to drive away from him. He could extrajudicially murder somebody because what? Because you're wearing a vest. And by the time you do see a guy running down the street with a medical bag at some point, but but that's like, it was like a minute and a half, right?
Yeah.
There's like 40 fucking agents there. Like somebody, the car closest to them by federal standards should have a fucking first aid kit in that car. He didn't see that he shot her and immediately go and call for a medic. No, he turned away and he didn't give a fuck. That man should find himself some nice international waters. Go out there and meet some people who are fond of the methods that the KKK used to use, and they should handle him that way. Because I mean, for fuck's sake, that man should suffer. I have never in my life did I think I would see a federal officer shoot someone. I saw a comment that's true. He's killed before. Fuck yeah, he has. You don't do that. You don't do that without killing people. That there's no way that you don't holster your gun like that. He wasn't shaking.
No. He was, and then they tried to immediately spin the narrative that he was afraid for his life. And all I could hear all day was that George Orwell quote, the final and most essential command. You have to ignore what you just saw with your eyes. Cause we all saw it, bro. We all saw it. And then for you to go on these press conferences that you all felt like you had to hold to lie to us. It's totally mind-boggling. Totally mind-boggling. I don't know if this is gonna get people out, though. That's my concern, is the complacency.
I've seen videos of them barricading their neighborhoods, and I've seen shit. Like, they killed a woman in Chicago. Same way. Same thing. They shot that woman 7 times as well. They killed a man in Chicago. They shot her 7 times. Silverio they killed first, and that was in Chicago. Same deal, driving the car. And then I forget her name, but they shot her. She got shot 7 times, and the body cam footage came out of the ICE officer literally being like, "Try it, bitch. I'm gonna fucking," like basically saying he was gonna shoot her before he shot her. And then thank God that she did live, actually. But I don't know if that guy was tried or not. I don't know if that ICE officer had charges brought against him or anything. But you know what I will say is that, unfortunately, I'll believe it when I see it. Now, they killed a white woman. Now that's new. That's new. She's not Hispanic. She's not, a minority. She's a white woman. The sad reality is, and I remember listening to Wajahat Ali a long time ago, and he said, until the white people feel it, nothing's going to change. And so now maybe white people will be afraid. Maybe they fucking should be afraid. Maybe it's time the white people got scared. Because guess what? Being a white woman doesn't guarantee you get to work without getting shot and killed by an ICE officer.
Yep.
Wake the fuck up. It's
My
not like we
neighbor,
weren't saying this in November of 2024.
my neighbor is a 74-year-old Black Panther, and I asked her, she's cool as a cucumber, totally calm. And I was like, are you not upset by everything that's going on? You're always so calm. And she was like, honey, you are just experiencing the America the rest of us have been in. We've been
Exactly.
here. They'll shoot our
Mhm.
sons when they pull them over on the side of the road.
Mhm.
Like the we've
Mhm.
been saying that. We have to train our sons how to handle themselves, and daughters how to handle themselves at traffic stops, any interaction with law enforcement, any interaction with public officials, government officials, whatever. Um yeah, we've been knowing this. You
Yeah.
are just now experiencing what it's like to be us in America. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
This
yeah.
country, like, look, this is what I was saying earlier. It's like 2026 is going to be a year of reckoning. Okay. It's going to be a year where everyone turns around and realizes that our bridges are crumbling, our roads are breaking, our healthcare system is going to be, they've put all this money into it, but no one's going to be able to afford it, which means it's going to atrophy itself because, well, what's the fucking point of, like, like all of these things? It's like this weird amalgamation of greed and money, and
Yeah.
what happens when you let a system like American capitalism and it all mixes together, and then people can't afford their rent, their food. Like, that's why I'm saying, guys, I'm past believing any kind of institutional change will happen unless I'm kind of past thinking the Epstein files are going to matter. I'm fucking sorry. I'm fucking
Right. They
sorry,
don't
guys.
care. They don't care.
I hate to say it. I'm I'm done with false hope. I was done with false hope months ago, and then I like 6 months ago I was done with false hope. I'm sorry, but there is no rosy outlook here. Like, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where the hell you are on this earth. Doesn't matter. Everywhere it's bad. Now, I'm not saying I'm out of hope. What I'm saying is the reality in which change comes is a popular uprising. And I am doubting the elections because our inability to demand accountability and fight election fraud and election manipulation.
Yeah.
As a population, we have appeared entirely incapable of doing that, which is nuts. Like I said this the other day, that someone said, "Oh, what can I do to stop them from striking Venezuela?" You can't. You cannot. There's nothing you can do. What you could do is, if your mayor and you live in a state where elections can be recalled, supports that shit, or was a MAGA or a maggot, recall his ass. Recall his ass. Everywhere you can, engage civically, and maintain the social contract, because the law is only a social contract. So if we choose to maintain our social contract, then that can exist exclusively from the law, right? Because the law is only what a law written is not a law obeyed, right? It's this idea that, like, they can say ICE agents can do whatever they want, but realistically, somebody at this point, that doesn't really work that way, because there is consequences. Now, the problem is our institutions themselves are jacked and fucked, and there's no federal accountability. And I don't really know what happened to the whole state resistance thing. Gavin Newsom's been real quiet.
Yep.
Like, I want to point something out to you guys. Everyone got real quiet. Obama was talking. Don't hear from Obama anymore. Kamala Harris was talking for a while. Don't hear from her anymore. Don't hear much from the Democrats in Congress either. I don't know what the conversation is that's been had, but everyone got really quiet.
They have.
So I'm thinking that people, Americans, are going to be the final recourse. So, and that means people got to suffer, really suffer, really suffer, and that happens this year. That I'm certain that 100%. Like, look, I the amount of awful things that they've done to this economy, and that they've done to the economy, that they have done to our social systems, all of these things is traumatic. And it's people don't understand. People have no idea what it is. And like, people will say, well, we got to stop Trump. Stopping Trump's not going to do shit. Trump is literally a mouthpiece. Trump didn't want to bomb Venezuela. They're like, oh, Trump did it because he saw Maduro dancing. No, Trump was sitting there barely awake, and someone showed him a picture of Maduro dancing. It was like, fuck that guy. We should bomb him. Do it. Fucking do it. Right? Like, let's be very clear. That is way too complex a decision for Donald Trump to make himself. He has no brain capacity. We need to understand that Trump dies. That's great. Here's JD Vance. And now it's just cold, mechanical, robot, technocratic, billionaire oligarch government. Okay. Like it's
I'm with you. I don't think anything's going to happen until people are willing to get very, very uncomfortable and get out and be more visible.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And it's hard to get people to do, like, it's really hard because I understand where people are coming from, especially, people that make under $80,000 a year. When are they going to take off work to go to DC or to even go to their state capital? Some of these places,
when they default on everything and their $80,000 doesn't fucking matter. That's it. That's the thing.
It's going to have to get so bad. So bad.
Despicable and evil thought. Okay. And it kind of makes me happy at night. So as the Saudis and the Russians, everyone, they invest and buy all our shit, right? When we do get our government back, we can seize all their shit because it's all in America. So we could just take everything. We could just freeze all their assets. And that's and take all their money because fuck them.
Yeah.
And I think about that sometimes, and I'm like, you know what, guys, fucking bring it. If they're gonna do it, fucking do it. And let them bring it all, and then we would take back our government through a popular uprising and take all their money, and it'll be great. It'll be awesome. But like, that's far off right now.
It is.
People are still gonna wait for the midterms. They're still gonna wait for the midterms, and I don't know about the midterms. I'm not saying don't fight for the midterms. I'm saying unless you're out there, unless you get a petition going in your state, in your town, and you demand hand-counted ballots, they're going to steal the election. Unless we're voting with paper, they steal it. That's my take. Now, take it or leave it, Shane, whatever. But here's what I'll say. Like, if you are playing a game, okay, but like you're in a competition, so you have to beat someone in a game to win. Well, we, the people, are voting, and the oligarchs and the fascists and the technocratic assholes and billionaires who are trying to steal, who have stolen our democracy, they're playing a game, and it's called steal your ballots by manipulating the voting tabulators. Okay, it's the game they've gotten really good at. But the thing is, we have a right to vote paper ballots. We went to tabulators because of the whole hanging Chad thing. That's why we went there in the first place. Now, we have every right to say, well, actually, now we don't trust our elections in this tabulator thing, so go back to paper ballots. And they got really, really good at playing chess. But we, the people, say, nah, we don't go back to Connect 4. They suck at Connect 4. They don't got a plan for Connect 4. We're going to line it up real quick. Everybody's going to volunteer. We're all going to show up. We're going to count our ballots. We're going to stand on our democracy and our right to vote. And they lose.
As long as people do that. As long as there's a demand.
Great. Redistricting is great for them. But if everyone hates you, which they will, and they all hand vote, your redistricting doesn't matter. They're not getting their seats back.
Right.
They're not winning anything. I'm telling you, people, you know, and like Cheech, you know, he says, in my opinion, the silent majority, most are afraid and just want this to go
Yeah.
away. Some are opening their eyes, and you're right. And that's the problem in America, is that we've been given so many distractions that it's actually very easy to close your eyes and walk away. And the news is so awful that people instead turn on Netflix and re-binge Friends, because
Yeah.
Friends is nice. Friends is nice. I
Mhm.
like Friends. Like, I get it. I understand. You know, I like to crack open a good book, but I'm also facing reality every day as well. You can do both. You know, it's just a
The
choice.
headlines are always like, he still has 36%. He still has 35% that support him. And I think, like, why aren't we running the headlines that 67% of Americans hate your fucking ass? 67% of Americans are ready to be done with this. I feel like just that narrative in itself would be empowering to people if they understood that and all you have to do is flip the framing of it. That's it. But all I ever hear, especially from like mainstream media, is that 33, 35, whatever it is that is in support of Trump, approval rating. Well, how about the 67% that's not approving? Let's talk about that, because I think that would embolden people and empower people if they really grasped. And another thing is exposing, like when Twitter showed where accounts are from, exposing how many of these people are bots. Because you look at Twitter and you just think, "Oh my god, the whole world's gone to fucking hell," right? "Oh my god. Look at all these people." And it's all bots. They're not real.
You know, yeah. Let's see what happens with this Republican who died. If a Republican wins the seat, um,
Yes.
they cleaned up
Yes.
after November,
Mhm.
and it's not going to happen again. If he wins, it's in California too. Okay,
When
so that
is
should
that?
be. I have no idea. I just saw that he died. He's Californian.
Yeah.
So you know, that's, we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? If we lose an election in California, let me fucking tell you, you're not gonna lose. Not, no Republicans are gonna be winning in California anytime soon. Okay, so especially after fucking LA and how they treated the West Coast in general, Portland, Oregon, like these seats. So but we also use, I think, Dominion, which is their
Right.
thing. So if we lose this, then I'm going to say that's the bellwether for free and fair elections. I'm going to say that's that, because
Yeah.
there's no way it should be, it should be the case. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's where my
that's
husband and I set our line in the sand, because we had a talk after Trump won, allegedly, and I said, "We have to have a plan and we have to have a line in the sand." Okay? So, like, and that's our line in the sand, is if the elections don't happen or it's super clear they're rigged, because with a 33% approval rate, you don't win midterms. You don't. So if it's clear, that was our line in the sand to leave the country, right? And we were like, okay. And now the options for where we can go are just closing off. They're
there
closing
really
their
is.
doors.
It's north. That's it. You're in America, it's north.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to Europe right now. Fuck no, I wouldn't go to Europe
Oh
right now.
no, not to Europe, but
Hell
like,
no. Not, you can't even go to like
but
you
even
couldn't.
Canada and Mexico are tightening their immigration requirements, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's gonna
It's
be
getting expensive.
we
It's
have a
getting very
family of
expensive.
9. We have a
Yeah.
family of
Yeah.
9.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because we spent our whole lives of people saying, I want to come to America. And we never ever considered what it would be like to emigrate anywhere, or how difficult it might be, because why?
Yes.
Everyone wants to come here. Why would I even consider, um, you know, doing anything else? And it's like, But now we're sitting here like, oh, where do you go? Guess what? Now we understand why these
Yeah.
people risked everything to get
Yes.
away from a scary situation. Why they
Exactly.
did it.
Because if I think about if there's even a whisper of a draft, we'll get a fucking cargo ship or something. Like, I don't know what we'll do, but
If they try
no.
and draft me, they're gonna have a fucking insurrection. Fuck no. I have a problem with
That's
authority. You're like,
yeah.
get the fuck out of here. You want me to go commit war crimes? You can go and fuck yourself.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely
exactly
not.
what my
And I'm
son
not.
said. He was like, "Have you met Gen Z?" We'll just be like, "Nah, bro."
Yeah,
Like,
right. You're
no.
fucking
Are you
funny,
gonna
bro.
arrest all of us?
Damn
All of
straight.
us? Yeah,
Yeah, no,
because we're
fuck
not
you.
going.
Like, absolutely fucking not. Yeah, that there's a reason Putin doesn't want to do a draft either, because when you do a draft, you're asking for it.
Yeah, right.
So I don't think they'll draft. I think that our military starts to they shrink it very quietly over time here coming up. Like what happens when our carriers from the 80s, they're scheduled to be retired by 2030?
Mhm.
So what? We've got like 9 that, not even 10, because 10 are the old one and then there's the Ford, right?
Mhm.
Um so either they bring them all in and they redo all of the nuclear generators inside of them, which would cost probably more than we could fucking budget to do that for 10 carriers. And then the Bush, is it the Bush? The next one, they've got the Ford, and I think it's the Bush.
Yeah.
Or the Clinton. It's the Clinton. They named it after a pedophile. I
Great.
think they did actually name it after a pedophile. So the irony. But then we have 2, so that's less than China, and then they decommission them, and we can't even build a carrier. It takes us 13, 14 years to build a carrier, and I guarantee you the one they're working on right now isn't getting done anytime soon because China said no more nice things for you. And so they can't
Well, yeah, and Pete Hegseth came to the shipyard here and yelled at everybody. So they're all civilians. They're like, okay, fuck you, buddy. We can absolutely work half as slow. Like, let's go.
What is that going to do, Pete? You don't have
Yeah.
the rocks. You need the
Yeah.
rocks. And that's what's astonishing to me, to be honest with you, about their global posturing is the fact that every missile they shot at a boat, a fishing boat, that same missile could have been used to, I don't know, engage a Chinese destroyer or, fight a actual tangible real threat to the United States of America.
Right.
And guess what? They cannot replace that shit. We're 21 something billion. We're like $21.3 billion behind on our arms sales to Taiwan. Okay. We can't even deliver on our current obligations. And they're like, we just gave $11.5 billion of weapons to Taiwan. No, you didn't. You just gave them another IOU sticky note. So
Yep.
who fucking cares? There's a reason Europe is entirely at this point detached their military industrial complex from anything. Every obligation the United States has in terms of providing weapons and ammunition to partners is not happening. It's not happening. They're not delivering because they can't, because they are screaming and they're making a big show, but underneath, the United States over the course of 2025 has done nothing but get its ass whooped on the geopolitical stage under Trump. Nothing but get its ass whooped. They looked weak. They looked manipulable. Everybody got their cut. Everybody got in, got their money from the, it was, we cater to Russia, but we don't cater to Russia. We really got nothing from Russia. We gave Russia a lot. And then we've gotten nothing from Russia other than, getting strung along. And on top of that, this whole time we're coming we're coming into 2026 and no one, oh my God, I don't understand how no one is talking about these controls on silver and steel. I don't get it. It's like the steel is fucking insane to me. the way China does this, just so you guys can understand, when you have a control like this, in particular silver, so there's a lot of different producers of silver, right? But what China has done, and typically the US, in the West, we will go to smaller suppliers and buy in smaller batches as needed instead of in large quantities from like large state-owned silver miners, producers, refiners. So what they've done is, I believe it was for the silver, the same thing as for steel, but basically there's now 44 state-sanctioned entities that can export silver, and no one else can do it. And guess what? The U.S. never, ever, they didn't work with those entities, and those entities can elect not to sell to the United States. If that's the case, there's none. There is, it's literally like it's to give you a visual, it's like if you had a pile of M&Ms, and every M&M could be, to make a missile, you needed an M&M. And then you were entirely dependent on getting, M&Ms from China. and so you've got your big pile of M&Ms, you've got M&Ms for days, to keep the workers happy, you got to give them an M&M, and then they'll pop out a missile, pop out a bullet, pop out an artillery shell, pop out a tank. Well, the thing is, if you're looking at your pile of M&Ms getting smaller, it's been getting smaller since April 2025. And you've been, making deals, selling weapons, getting money. Hey, America, Uncle Sam, we're gonna give you missiles. We're gonna give you Patriot air batteries. We're gonna deliver. We're gonna make the next F-47 fighter jet. It's coming. Y'all better be scared. No, it's not. Y'all don't have any M&Ms. Y'all got nothing. Y'all got fucking nothing. And they don't want people to see what's coming. I wrote about today. If you haven't read my newsletter, haven't watched my report, go read it after. I talked about the United States manufacturing industry. It's going, friends. It's going.
David Schuster wrote a piece on that too. Yeah.
Who?
David Schuster wrote a piece on that too.
Schuster. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's going. And I've been talking about this for 7 months. It's like one of the first. See, when I started talking. Yeah, like when he rolled out the tariffs, I started watching the PMIs for manufacturing and stuff. So like when we were talking, we were first talking about the ports and everything, it's when I started watching. It was forever ago. It feels like now, but yeah. Yep. And now it's going to happen. And you know what I will say is they've managed to string it out longer than I thought. Like I underestimated, what they've been able to do, but like the consumer is at bandwidth, the supply chain bandwidth. They're talking about all these new jobs, but all of these new jobs are in tech manufacturing. But the thing is, the tech manufacturing, they say, oh, we got $4.5 billion in new chip manufacturing, and it's going to create 6,000 jobs. But the thing is, actually, that plant won't exist until 2030, and that would only be the case if they were getting the steel they needed to build the plant, which they're not. The specific type of steel they use for transformers, data centers, it's like a special conductive type of steel. It's only made in China.
Of course.
But they don't. No one talks about it. It's like they know it's going to happen. They know it's going to happen. But also at the same time, it's interesting because they've put $1.3 trillion into AI since 2022. They have $1.1 trillion in undelivered services or products or chips that have been pushed out to 2026, 2027, and 2027, right? So the longer this goes on, the more you look at it, they've just got all this capital tied up. And it's, got all this capital tied up in things that don't exist. Over $1 trillion in things that don't exist, that won't exist based on the economic conditions. And as the world gets more competitive, if China's trying to build a data center and they're trying to build a data center and China controls the refining manufactories, do you think China is going to want to share with us?
Right.
No. So it's like, there's a comment here. Do you think they can get the rare minerals to go to war? I think that they already have, and I'm actually curious. Maybe this is something to ask your peeps and the your people, but ask them if there is any. They are getting antimony somehow. Okay, so antimony is the primer for any kind of munition, but it's been blocked, fully banned since April, which means that they are doing it through black markets, like going through intermediaries. And so if there's someone they know in acquisitions that you would be, basically what you would want to look for is people who are signing off on things a little bit callously to like proving something that shouldn't, because it's illegal to buy black market materials.
Right. Right.
So, but the Pentagon has to be doing it. Otherwise, there's absolutely no way they could do it. Now, that's a big, that's some treason shit. That's congressional. Like, what is Congress going to do? But the more shit you can pile on the mound, the better. But I don't know. That's something to look into. And I don't have anybody who might know anybody, but maybe it's worth looking into for sure, because it's one of those things where when you look through the window that is Trump making a bunch of noise, there is the flooded zone, which is everyone's worried about everything all over, and everything is being destroyed, or it's just, this is a bunch of nonsense. It just doesn't, what Stephen Miller said yesterday, what Kristi Noem did, like, do we want the concentration camps to go away? You topple the regime. Do you want them to stop
shooting citizens now?
You topple the regime. Like that's it, right? So we topple it through our vote, through exercising our right to maintain choose our means of voting, like through choosing to paper ballots, to not play their game. Because if we continue to play on a field a game where their deck is stacked, we're gonna lose. And
it's like Lucy and the football. It's like Lucy and the football. Again and again.
Analogy. And again. Perfect analogy. And that's where I think that I don't know. I just think, I don't know if it's going to be next month. I don't know if it's going to be maybe Q2. They really run out of things. Could be Q1. I think we're going to see a wave of retail bankruptcies in Q1.
Yes.
Big time.
There were so many this past year that I didn't really clock all of them until somebody made like a compilation video at the end of the year. And I was like, wow, it was a lot in 1 year.
Yeah, it was something like 300% more. And there was like there was 80 bankruptcies in November.
That's awesome.
Just like it's happening. And the question really is that's why they're actively fighting over these things, because the amount of money that has been put behind things that don't exist. They need to figure out how to make their money worth something. Because if they don't, then they're fucked.
That's why
the military,
we have to get that oil, so the petrodollar. Yes.
Yeah, and it's ironic too, because I know my dad works in the oil company industry, right? He's been there for a while, and people around there talk, right? And so the word on the street is that the oil companies want fucking nothing to do with Venezuela at all. They don't even give a shit. It's too expensive.
I don't blame them.
It's too expensive. It's too expensive. It would take over $100 billion in 10 years to reconstruct Venezuela. We are not running Venezuela at all in any capacity at all. They are in the streets protesting the United States. Okay. It's just like, I cannot emphasize enough. It's all bullshit.
It is.
It's not worth listening to at all. It's not worth listening to at all. Full stop. It doesn't, and that's the thing. That's why I talk about it's the scaffolding. You can't build a building if you don't have materials. If you have enough building to put all the scaffolding up, okay. So, but that's not a building. You can't you can't say there's going to be a building there just because you put down scaffolding. And that's the crux of it. It doesn't matter what they say. Look at the rocks. Look at the bricks. Where are the bricks? You got no bricks? I'll fucking bet $1 million that your building never shows up if you have no bricks. Okay. Right? I'll bet money I don't have if you have no bricks. Because I know you can't do it. I know they can't do it.
So when I talked to Elizabeth from Venezuela, who she's great. She's been a great resource. And
I love her.
Just person. And her whole thing is like, what are you guys gonna do? Like, she's like, the Venezuelan people I know are, and she's leftist, okay, but she's like, the Venezuelan people I know are, they're kind of scared, but it's not like, they're not scared of like a military invasion. Like, we'll kick your ass. We're not scared of that. We'll kick your ass. This is what she said. But she's scared. They don't know the infrastructure of their country. That's what they're more scared of. Because she's like, obviously, you guys, like, you can't run your country. So you're obviously not going to run ours. You have no plan. You're not putting forth any plan for continuing the existing infrastructure or anything like that. So she, and just the way that she very flippantly is like, you don't understand what we're like here. We have a military and we have cartels, and the Venezuelan people, a lot of them have organized themselves into like militias, and they've been armed by Maduro.
I remember.
So she's like, your kids are gonna die if they come in here.
Correct. I remember me and Nick made a video. When was that? Maybe October. And we talked about why you could never actually invade Venezuela, why it wouldn't work. And it's exactly what Elizabeth said. You would be fighting a guerrilla war. You would be fighting basically people going underground, and your missiles, your fancy radars, your F-35s, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter when you're in the jungle. Also, you know what? Our track record with, actually, putting a country back together after we fuck it up is awful. We can't do it. We like objectively are incapable of actually building a new democracy, even though we like to say that's what we do. We really don't. If you like, even go back to like South Korea, okay, they would just dictatorships for days, until finally they figure that shit out themselves, not us. And the reason they still struggle with that shit is because our money is all tied up in their stuff, right? So, it's true. I think that Elizabeth is right, and I think that it's, I don't think it was planned. I've heard people think it was planned or organized with Russia. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think that it was a retaliatory move against China, who imports 4% of their oil from Venezuela. I think that someone probably showed Trump that video of him dancing. It just so happens they did that 2 days after the silver and steel controls went into place. They seized the first oil tanker after they announced those controls, back in mid-December. So look, the timeline says it has nothing to do with Russia. It probably doesn't. They just seized a Russian tanker in the Atlantic. So, I don't think Russia is cool with that because their shadow fleet keeps getting smaller. So
Right.
they're probably not stoked about that. So I don't think it has anything to do with Russia. I don't think it, I think that it, put simply, there's a very dramatic cover going on while these people scramble to figure out what the fuck to do before they lose all their money, because the United States was in decline under Biden and it could have gone, it was maybe coming back. But if we had really doubled down on sustainable energy and our own manufacturing of these things like the chips and science, like all these things, right? If we had actually doubled down on this stuff, we could have and improved our relationships with Canada and Mexico. Like you want less crime, address drugs, address poverty, you want less drugs, address poverty. Trust me, you remove poverty. You don't
better
have
outcomes all around, no better health outcomes, there's better crime outcomes, everything. Poverty is the root of everything. Yeah.
Yep. Poverty is the root of everything. And so, it has nothing to do with Russia. It certainly has. I don't even think the oil was planned at all. I think they called them the night before, because I believe that he called oil executives. And then I think he said, hey, we're going to, kidnap Maduro. You guys should go into Venezuela and get all this oil.
Want in? And
they were probably like, why the fuck would I do that? Mm-hmm. Like, that sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So, it's like that. It's things like that where you're like, I don't know. It's weird. I think it's a lot simpler than they make it out to be. And it's because of that, they need to keep the show going. They need to put Maduro on trial. What happens when they can't convict him on anything? Because they just grabbed him from his house. And there's actually no.
Well, they charged him with being head of a cartel, and then the next day we're like, oh, you know what? That cartel doesn't actually exist.
It doesn't exist. It's just like Antifa.
So like their charges are falling apart like that paper that you put in water and it just like falls apart. That all their charges are going to fall apart. It's insane. Yeah. Oh my God. What time is it? Yeah. Okay. So you have to do an act. What's your act? I'm sick. I have an excuse.
I got a good act. So there is find it. There is a petition right now that is out by This Will Hold, demanding a hand recount in Wisconsin for their election. So my act for you guys is to go to, I'm going to send a link in the private chat, Melissa, so you can get it, is to go, and I will also put this in the chat here. And if you haven't already, I want you to go and sign This Will Hold petition. It's going to take you to their link. And go to this article. Let me see if I can grab the exact link for the petition here. And so let's see. Sign the petition. So here's actually the petition link, Melissa. I send that after. And so go and sign this petition. And it's really important that we establish that we have power over certain aspects, and if we can take away their means of control in that regard of ballots and the electronic using these tabulators to steal elections and do these things, all it takes is one time to prove that they stole it, and then everything has to be looked at. Right? We just need one. Because then everything else becomes less legitimate. So go and sign this petition and share this petition. And the goal is 5,000, and it has 1,656. And this type of thing is what saves American democracy. This popular action, and it's only got 1,500 signatures. Like, what the hell? This is why we're here. You know how easy it is for people to sign a petition on the internet?
There it
They can
is.
go to Amazon
Yep,
and
sign.
order.
I just updated QR code.
There we go.
So boom.
Yep. There you go. There's your QR code. It's in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Make sure you scan it. And I'll also put the link here in the chat as well. Again, I'll send it over to Nick and make sure they have it as well when they post the recording. But this is a great, easy, simple way to take action. And it's things like this. We have to do things like this, because a really important part of stealing an election or maintaining control is the appearance of legitimacy. Okay, so if they appear illegitimate on the world stage, if the people of America can prove that our government is stealing our elections, we might be able to get, I don't know, candidates to send in an independent election monitoring group, right? There's options, right? And then they either say, no, you can't have that, which means, okay, you're definitely stealing the elections, or we take it back. And I do think the means of Congress still functionally exists. Okay, it functionally exists. As long as it functionally exists, as long as they don't abolish Congress, itself, the system they've created is everything functionally exists, but they just do what they want and everyone lets them. If any of the two checks and balances use their power, this wouldn't work. But it's because you have complicity across the board. So it's about getting an election where we get real people in Congress who have the will to speak for the people, to bring these people to account. And I will say the military is a wet bag of noodles, but also the military is a wet bag of noodles. So if we impeach the president and throw all these guys in jail, they'll turn around and they will also arrest them. If the Congress and everyone basically makes a strong enough case that we're looking at treason, then they'll do it. But they won't do it until they're absolutely 100% unjustifiably
forced to.
Must do it.
Yeah, till they're forced to.
So let's start with a simple hand count in Wisconsin. It's not that hard. Not that hard. So share it with, not only sign this, share it with 10 people.
Yes.
10 people. 10 people. I guarantee you 10 people. You might not talk to them that much. You might not have even texted this person in 2 years. Just say, hey, sign this petition. Might actually help us save our democracy.
Yep.
10 people. Like, dude, it's so easy. If there's 305 people here, okay, and each of you share that with 10 people, that's 3,500 signatures. And that puts them over. That puts them at their goal of 5,000. That puts them over 5,000. We right now here, you guys could put them over their $5,000 signature goal. Just right now. So it's really that simple. It's really that simple, guys. It's things like that. People still have power. It's whether or not they choose to use it, and that's why we're gonna sit here and we're gonna keep telling the truth the best we can with the best available information we have. And ideally, eventually we get a report on, I don't know, like someone, burned down Mar-a-Lago. That's cool. Maybe someday, maybe get a report on some people putting boots on ICE cars, or, slashing tires, or, just do something, just do something. People should do something. Ice pick. I want to report on it. I'm not telling you to do it. I just want to report on it. This is two very different things, just so we're all clear. I would like to report on that, because that would be evidence of real tangible resistance. So that's what I'd love to report on.
This is why we love you, Shane.
Melissa?
This is why I threw your QR code up here. So if anybody is in this chat that has not subscribed to Shane, first of all, I don't even understand what you're doing with your life, because you gotta do that. Dude, I sit here like I had to find something to write notes on tonight, every time I talk to you, I find something new. Something new. You educate me every fucking time. Every fucking time. So now I have my research, my homework to do in the morning to look up silver. I love it. I love it. So
Hey,
yeah, everybody go subscribe, be a firebrand.
absolutely. Melissa's a firebrand. Everyone here is a firebrand. If you give a shit about democracy and doing the right thing and you're willing to say so, you're a firebrand. It's really that simple. And it's why it's not the Shane project. It's a firebrand project. It's all of us together because I spend 5 hours putting together a absurdly long report with all of these fun bells and whistles, not for myself, but so you guys can take it and use it.
Yes.
To talk to other people.
Infographics and all. Infographics and all.
Go check out my infographics. I'm really excited about my infographics. It's been really fun. I guess if you haven't subscribed to me, why subscribe to me? Well, I do a newsletter and I do a daily show called Firebrand Report. Geopolitics, geopolitical focus, putting together big scale pieces with real big world problems that do and will affect us here at home. So it's all about having an understanding of the architecture of the world, because if we know what game they're playing, because they're not paying attention to us as much as they're paying attention to these other stuff. Trust me. So if we know what they're trying to do, we get a better understanding of what their excuses for the things they end up doing while they're doing that makes more sense. So knowledge is power, right? Thank you for scanning the QR code. I see you.
You have to be educated to be empowered. Yes.
Yes. That's that's what it is. Guys,
and you're
Melissa, MC, absolute beast. Recently got picked up by Blue Amp. She's breaking stories. She's just a firebrand. Absolutely. She's coming through. She's tearing it up. And I always love talking to Melissa because we're on that same wavelength. We're always a little angry, about it. So, but we always have a good time. And I really, truly, think that Melissa is right on the front lines of where we need to be with independent journalism, walking that line of, making sure that, you don't pick up the MSM, but you make sure you're talking about the truth and you say it without, she's got the edge to it. It's not just, regurgitated information. She's giving it to you with heart, with pride. And she's an exceptional journalist, and you guys really need to go and support her at Counterstory, and so she can keep doing what she's doing, because we need her to keep doing what she's doing. We need her to keep talking to her folks in the Pentagon so we can find out where they're getting all that black market antimony. So, that's your next big story. That's your next big story. I want to hear.
I'm working on a story. I'm working on a story right now about a guy in Arkansas who was arrested, has been in jail for going on 7 months now, because he had an anti-Trump sign in his yard, and other people began coming into his yard and vandalizing his sign. It was like a homemade wooden sign, and this is backwoods outside Mobile, or it's Alabama. It's outside Mobile, Alabama. And so people started coming on his property, right? And the sign is like really set back from the road. So they had to like come all the way on his property to fuck with the sign. So him being a proper redneck, buried fireworks, which are legal in the state that he lives in. So he lightly buried some fireworks to surprise them when they came onto his property. And so he's been languishing in prison with a $400,000 bond for 7 months. I've talked to his daughter, and she's given us some pictures that are really startling about his appearance and how he's been handled in prison. So yeah, we're working on that to hopefully get that out pretty soon and get some justice for this guy. because
Hell yeah.
it's purely exercising First Amendment rights. When the sheriff of that county told his daughter if he would just take down the sign, everything would go away. Come on. We can't have that. We can't have that. I mean, I grew up in the South and I know those type of sheriffs and I know that type of law enforcement. And I really commend this guy for sticking to his guns and not taking the sign down. And now he's paying for it with his freedom, with this ridiculous, exorbitant, overblown charges, charging him with compiling explosive material. It's fireworks. It's fireworks.
Yeah. So, just to give you guys like one thing to think about, because she's telling us this story, right? You know what happens in Pakistan? They just arrested 11 YouTubers because they were exercising free speech on the internet. Is Pakistan a good place to be? Are they free? No.
Right.
No. So look, it smells like coup. It looks like coup. It's coup. It's free speech. It's an attack. Right. And, gotta tell folks what it is. Gotta tell folks what it is. And that's what Banner and Backbone is all about, baby. There you go.
We love our Banner and Backbone. I love these guys so much because they feel like my brothers, first of all. And it's so great, especially knowing Nick is just incredible. And knowing that Nick came from this generation like I did of Operation Iraqi Freedom vets, and to see the way he's comported himself since then. And I'm certain the way he comported himself in uniform, but since then, these are the type of guys that we should have in the military. These are the type of guys that have backbone. And I'm proud to work with Banner and Backbone. And I'm super, I don't look forward to much this year, but I do always look forward to the work I'm doing on Substack and the people I'm doing it with. They're amazing people. And without Nick Pero, man, Banner and Backbone, I don't know if it'd be a thing. He's definitely the backbone.
I'm telling you, it wouldn't. I know there was 3 founders, but I don't know where anyone else went except for Nick Pero. So, I will say that Nick is Banner and Backbone. Okay. Right. So, if you appreciate Banner and Backbone and everything that it does, if you appreciate the show and Palin Talk, and all of the other things that Banner and Backbone does, that's Nick. Okay. So,
right.
That Nick, support Banner and Backbone so we can get Nick a social media manager or something. I mean, God damn, just do Nick a solid. Subscribe to Banner and Backbone. Let's get Nick a little bit more support. If the dude had 6 hands, he would still be typing with all of them. So, he's doing it with 2. And he runs his own publication. Guys,
that's so high quality. Also the type of conversations that he has with men.
To write one newsletter.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. I'm dying trying to just write one newsletter, So guys, he's a beast. We need to support him. And he's a dad on top of all that, just like you're a mom on top of all of it. So guys, it's really Banner and Backbone. It's the new media. That's what me and Nick like to call it, the new media. There's mainstream media, there's legacy media, but then there's new media. And that's what we are here. New media cares about the truth. We care about the facts. We care about transparency, honesty in our community. We don't tolerate we don't tolerate bullshit. We expect from our peers the integrity that we expect from all journalists, and there's a place for that, and it's going to become more and more important going into 2026 as a lot of these traditional medias, it seems like they're getting swept up in the weeds more and more, unfortunately. But the weeds are thick, guys, and I'm concerned a little bit that the staples of independent media are starting to get bogged down by the bullshit more and more. So, that's why we need places like Banner and Backbone and Counter Story Media and Sick of This Shit with Nick and the Firebrand Project and all these things. And of course, that's why we need the Rant Act.
Right. Of course. So we can get it out once a week. I feel like I was pretty muted this week because I'm sick and my dog
You're here.
crossed the
That's
rainbow
impressive
bridge.
enough.
So I've been it's been quite a week. So man, but I gotta go put my little girl to bed, and you have to go snuggle your precious kitty.
Yes, I do. Maybe I'll go make some tacos. That's an inside joke, by the way. Make some tacos.
Make some tacos.
So
the Costco kind. The Costco kind.
The Costco tacos. Very important. Go make yourself some Costco tacos because Costco is suing the regime. Good for Costco.
Get that tariff money back.
Absolutely. All right, friends. It was good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today.